Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to be showing supplies that I use to make some bookmarks and also some pendants that I got. So I have the Hamza hand, I have the Tree of Life pendant, and then I also have some dream catchers. And then for some bookmarks, I have some owl pendants that are really cute. I've made some of these before and they sell really well, so I wanted to make some more. And they just look like this. These are 18mm pendant trays, so the glass just fits right in there. I had to buy the glass separately for the owls, but with the pendants, they came with it, and these are 14mm, so they're kind of small, but with some skins that I've had lately, I can get some really good detail with some of the cells, and I'll show those in a minute. But I wanted to show how I make my pendants. I know some people have had questions on how to do jewelry. So other than my glass pieces and my pendant trays, I'm going to show this portion first. Move these out of the way. There are a few different kinds of glue that you can use. One popular one is called Diamond Glaze, and then there's also Lily's Glaze, which I've gotten off of Etsy, and it's a high clarity glass and crafting glue. These both dry clear, which is what you want. You don't want anything that's going to yellow over time, or else it might ruin your pendants that you're making. And then I also have different acrylic skins from a couple of previous paintings, and this is freezer paper, and what I've done is just let paint dry on the freezer paper. I take my glass pieces and set them on here. I move them around to find portions that I like, and then I glue them down. Once they're glued, I let them dry for about 24 hours, so a day, and then I cut everything out and glue it into the pendant tray, and then also let that dry for probably another 24 hours. So it does take a little bit of time. I just like to make sure that everything is nice and dry before gluing it or giving it away or selling it. So, you know, you may be able to get it all done in a day, but I like to wait a couple of days. That's just my preference. If you've used silicone in your paint while you've been painting, you'll want to take rubbing alcohol or something and wipe it off to remove the oil residue, or else it may not glue properly. And even with these kinds of glues, every once in a while I still get some air bubbles. So if anyone who makes jewelry has any suggestions for any other kinds of glue, I am all for it. I would like to try some different things and see what happens. I don't know why the air bubbles occur. I let my paint cure quite a while, multiple weeks before using these. So I don't think it is an issue with moisture. So I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I have quite a few glass pieces. I'm just going to glue a bunch, and then I will show you what they look like once they're all glued. But I have a variety of skins, and I kind of keep, even though they're small pieces, I kind of save as much as I can. Sections that look really pretty. This one is a whole bunch of different skins. I actually used the Shelly Art recipe for this one, and this was all leftover paint that was on my paper, and I just swiped the cell activator over the paint, and I got some really beautiful portions of cells that I want to use. So this will last me quite a long time. I will be able to get a lot of pendants out of this. And that's one of the things that I like about the freezer paper, is I can keep the paint on it. I can save the skins, and it doesn't, you know, if you layer it, like if you stack the paper, you aren't going to have the paper sticking to the paint. So freezer paper is just my preference. I also sometimes save paint on watercolor paper. So whatever you want to use just to save your paint, but I'm going to get a couple of these going. Okay, so for gluing the pieces down, I tend to place my glass piece down first and decide what areas that I would like to glue it to. What you can also do is cut the circles out first and then glue it down, but this gives me the ability to move it around and see what I like, what I don't like, and I'm going to be able to get a few out of this. And so once I have a spot that I like, I put a little bit of glue down. Come on. Put a little bit of glue down, put my glass piece down, and then press and hold it for a little bit so that it stays in place. I'm going to do a few more. Really like the cells up here. And then one more down here. So these larger ones will be for the bookmarks, and these smaller glass pieces will be for the pendants. And I want to do a couple on here. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to my next piece. But as you can see, it's really easy to do. You just put your glue down. You can move your glass piece wherever you want, and then just let it dry. If you're worried about air bubbles, you can also rest something heavy on top of this to kind of keep them flat and glued together. I'm just going to move this out of the way, and then I'm going to work with this piece. These cells were pretty awesome. Actually on most of the pieces that I'm using today, I used the Folk Art Color Shift paint, and those turn out, those once they're all dry, they're pretty awesome. I like using them. And I got more of the colors. I think I almost have a rainbow of color right now with the Color Shift paint, so I'm going to do another painting with a wider variety of colors. And I apologize in advance if you can hear one of my cats talking to me right now. He is upset that I am not giving him attention while I am working on this. Oh, where do I want to put one up here? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to let everything dry, and in the next part I will show you just cutting everything out and gluing it all together into the pendant trays. Again, it's pretty easy. The bulk of the time is just waiting for things to dry. Okay, so all of my pieces have been drying for a few days, so they are ready to be cut out. I have quite a few, so I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I will show you how I glue everything together. But I have a couple of my pendants and a bunch of my bookmarks all ready to go. Okay, so I have everything cut out. I'll zoom in a little bit here. So with my skins, even though I already used this piece, I'm actually going to save it because there's quite a bit of space that I could still add 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 other glass pieces to. So this is one thing I like to do when I save it on the paper. It saves really well. It doesn't stick to other pieces. I've had just paint skins and those stick together, and they just don't store well, so working on the paper works really well. So I use E6000 to glue my pendants into the trays. You don't need a lot of glue. If you have excess glue, you can always wipe it off. Before I glue them all together, I check to make sure that my pendant is going to fit into the tray. If I have any excess paper or anything that I need to trim off, I'll do that beforehand, so that all I have to do is just pop it in. It sits right in there, and we are all good to go. So I will take a little bit of glue. Just put it on my piece, and it doesn't dry right away, so you can adjust your piece, move it around if you don't like the way that it's sitting. I squeeze it and hold it for a couple of seconds. Like I said, if excess glue comes out, you can wipe it off with a paper towel, and the glue just comes off your hands with soap and water. So pretty easy. I'll do one of my bookmarks here. But again, I'm just putting it into the tray and moving it around until I like the way that the design is. And I don't see any glue coming out. So I'll do a couple more here. And I'll do my Tree of Life, and I'm going to do this one. This one has some pink in it. It looks really cute. I'll do one more bookmark. Okay, so I will take some pictures of these all finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions on any of the products that I'm using or how I did this, please let me know in the comments. And thank you all for watching.